Hello everyone, welcome to episode number 2 of the 2024-25 season on the Cheltenham Countdown YouTube channel. To this episode today I'll be discussing the open hurdlers, the established hurdlers, 4 horses in the 2 mile division, as well as the stayers in the 3 mile division, leading up to Cheltenham next March, who I think will be competing in those type of races during the season. And just before I start mentioning a few horses and what's going to happen on this episode today, if any of you want to subscribe to my channel to get all the latest Cheltenham and jumps racing news, please do so. It only takes a few seconds and it massively helps boosting the channel. So I do recommend you try and subscribe to the channel if you want to get all the latest news leading up to the jumps racing season this upcoming year. So the way this episode is going to work today is I'm going to mention roughly about 5 or 6 horses in each division for 2 miles and 3 miles, for example, the champion hurdle division and the staying hurdle division for the upcoming season. About 5 or 6 horses that I think will stand a good chance of competing in grade 1s and more importantly winning grade 1s during the whole year. I'll speak about their most likely targets, what type of races they'll be going for, I think, during the campaign. But more importantly, I will be mentioning a few of your names who took the time to comment on my Twitter posts and Instagram posts in the last couple of weeks. A lot of you that took the time to get involved. Thank you very much. Your opinions massively matter to me, and I really do read all of your messages and comments. So stay tuned, as your name might be mentioned in this episode. But importantly, thank you very much for getting involved. I really want this year for you guys to get more interactive with me, so I can mention what your thoughts are during the whole videos. So with regards to the horses in each division, I'll mention obviously the 2 miles and the 3 mile division. I've gone through the anti-post markets on some betting websites of late with regards to horses' prices and who I think may well be competitive and end up running in those races come March next year. In the Champion Hurdle, you have Constitution Hill, who is the outright favourite. He's about 5-2, 11-4 favourite for the time being in the anti-post markets for the Champion Hurdle. And in the Stayers Hurdle, the anti-post market leader is a short price favourite in Tihupu for Gordon Elliott, obviously last season's winner. He's about 9-4, touching 9-4 favourite in that particular race. I will mention another 4 or 5 horses in those races that I think may well throw their hat into the ring come the race next March. And then obviously their routes throughout the season. So firstly, I'm going to go through the Champion Hurdle candidates, the contenders, and then I'll skip into the Stayers Hurdle division, and then I'll mention some of your names in terms of what you said in my posts on Twitter and Instagram during the episode. I'll start with the highest rated hurdler in training. This is in the Champion Hurdle division, of course. It's Constitution Hill for trainer Nicky Henderson, who has said last month, back in July, that his superstar looks absolutely magnificent since returning to 7 Barrows. As we're all aware, he had an interrupted season last campaign due to a respiratory problem, and obviously didn't take part in last season's Champion Hurdle and didn't have any opportunity to defend his crown. Now, though, connections are apparently delighted and thrilled with how he looks, as he is just getting back into the swing of things. We all expect Constitution Hill's return, first race back of the season, to be in the fighting 5th hurdle at Newcastle on November the 30th. So, and that's a date that is hopefully set in stone for Constitution Hill, and I really hope he is back to his brilliant best. Should he make his long-awaited comeback on the track, anywhere near his usual high standard would be a fantastic starting point to his season. I'm sure we'll all find out more in the coming weeks and months on his process, but targets throughout the season will probably include another tilt at the Christmas Hurdle at Kempton. It will be his 3rd successive win at that track and his 3rd successive Christmas Hurdle race. Then we all pray and hope that he makes it smoothly back to Cheltenham in March to try and regain the Champion Hurdle against the best 2 mile hurdlers in Ireland. And I suspect if all goes well there, then he may turn up at next year's Cheltenham Festival, I think, to run on Irish shores for the first time. I really hope he ends up having a smooth passage to Cheltenham in March. Then hopefully with a good run at the festival next year, he may hopefully go to Punchstone to take on Stateman and others in their own backyard. That will be a perfect end to the season and a perfect way to have him back in training and in full race order. The current champion hurdler, Stateman, is next, and I'm guessing it'll probably be the same for Stateman as it was last season, by starting in the Morgiana Hurdle at Punchstone, then the Matheson Hurdle at Leopardstown over Christmas. The Irish Champion Hurdle should be next at the DRF WMX Festival, followed by his chance to retain the Champion Hurdle at Cheltenham. And then I suspect he'll probably end up at the Punchstone Festival next year and run 5 times this season again. So hopefully, again, he's such a good horse. 5 Grade 1s will be his target again this season. He is a Grade 1 master. And we'll see if all those 5 races will be on his schedule throughout the season. Now then, it's the turn on this episode of Lossiemouth, who I think personally, at this point of the season, well, obviously the season hasn't started, but without the season starting, I'd have her down as a potential Champion Hurdle candidate. I reckon she'll begin her campaign in the Hatton Graces Hurdle, or over 2.5 miles, as she stays that trip anyway. And from then on, it'll be very interesting to see where Willie Mullins pitches her during the season. I can personally see her running at returning to Cheltenham next January for her opportunity to win a second international hurdle on trials day, as she was so dominant there last season, and that would avoid a clash then involving Constitution Hill, Stateman and herself before the Champion Hurdle in March. So I'd say for sure she'll be attempting a Champion Hurdle tilt this season. It's just where her sort of short-term targets would be in order to avoid clashing with the other big two. So we've had 3 horses so far in the Champion Hurdle division. I'm going to give you another 3 now, and they're all going to be coming into open company potentially for next season. I put on Twitter not so long ago a post regarding Champion Hurdle discussion, and I put 3 horses in that post, including Ballyburn, Mystical Power and Sergino. So any of these 3 horses I thought could end up in a Champion Hurdle next season. We all already know how good these 3 horses are. It's just a case of will they be pitched into a 2-mile division against the likes of Lossiemouth, Stateman and Constitution Hill. So in the post I put on Twitter, I did want to get interactive, and I wanted to know your thoughts on who I think may even attempt an opportunity to win a Champion Hurdle. In my opinion, these were the 3 I wanted to ask, and I had a lot of response to that post, and now I'm going to mention some of your comments and replies on this episode. Of the 3, the majority of you who replied to the post did say Mystical Power, including Chrissy Harrison, Kieran Clavin, Mark Lewis, Scotty Rudds and Big JT41. A few of you I just mentioned also said maybe Sergino might go to the race. Simon Curry said a good point. Sergino obviously has the same owner as Stateman, so would they even face each other in the race? A lot of you here also the same thought that Ballyburn goes novice chasing, a very popular thought in that regard. So I took away from that question that Mystical Power was the most likely horse of the 3 to go to the Champion Hurdle next March. We'll wait on Sergino. He's an interesting one because I'm not sure whether he potentially could skip Cheltenham and go to an entry hurdle if Constitution goes to Punchstone. Obviously that would interlink again and avoid them clashing with each other. Henderson obviously trains them both. But Ballyburn is more likely, in my opinion, to go novice chasing. It's just would they send Mystical Power in a deep race with Stateman and Lossiemouth? We wait to find out this season, but it's very much an intriguing idea and one of the best races of the festival next year. There's one more horse I want to mention now. Not necessarily a horse that's going to potentially win the Champion Hurdle, but I think may compete in Grade 1s and definitely Grade 2s throughout the season, and then could run in the field of the race, in the Champion Hurdle field in the race and the festival, is Favour and Fortune for Alan King. I'd imagine this horse may attempt to run in the Elite Hurdle at Wincanton in November, as trainer Alan King has won this race 3 times previously with now retired Sir Royale. He ran Favour and Fortune ran the Supreme last season, as well as winning the Scottish Champion Hurdle. So I think he could pick up a few Grade 2s, like I said, at least throughout the season. He has the profile of an improving horse who could end up running in the Champion Hurdle. So not necessarily a contender, I'd say, but definitely a horse that could end up running and picking up a lot of prize money in the race if that's what connections wish to do so. Now, we move on from a very competitive Champion Hurdle to probably a lesser competitive Stayers Hurdle division this term. And we'll start off with the reigning Stayers Hurdle winner, Tihupu, who I think is one of the best Stayers Hurdle winners we've had for a while. Obviously won in Cheltenham in March. He will most likely start off in Hatton's Grace Hurdle again this season, like he did last term, winning it last season. Then I think he may end up in a Christmas Hurdle at Leopardstown in December. and then possibly then straight onto the Cheltenham Festival, and then we'll end up seeing him in the Punchestown Festival again towards the end of next season. But that's the route I think Gordon Elliott and Rob Coe will probably end up going down, is those 4 races. That's what he'll target. I think he'll have during the season. He didn't run in a Christmas hurdle last season, but I think this year they may want to have another run in with him between the Hatton's Grace and the Stayers Hurdle. So that'll be a perfect opportunity for him to run another Grade 1 in December. So this division really does reflect in the anti-post betting market, with the fact that Sea Hoopo is such a short price market leader for the time being. In that list, I've picked about 3 or 4 horses that I think can maybe serve it up to him if they go to that race, if they go to the Stayers Hurdle. The horses I've noted are Hidden Valley Lake, a horse to follow. I think that's a bit biased in my opinion, really. But he's a horse that in Ireland that I think that can really compete in Grade 1s during the season, especially the fact that the horses that were in Ireland last season competing in these 3-mile Stayers Hurdle races got absolutely trounced by Sea Hoopo in March this year. So I think a new opponent for Sea Hoopo in Hidden Valley Lake may well throw his hat into the ring and be competitive in those type of races. He's one that I'm going to keep an eye on in this division in Ireland. And there's 2 in the UK that I think with their official mark can be competitive in Grade 1s and maybe head to the Stayers Hurdle again next season. They are strong leader for Ollie Murphy, and I've got down Langer Dan for Dan Skelton. They're both rated 158 and 160 respectively. So with their official rating, they should be competitive in this race. It just depends if that's the route and what type of targets they have short term that can make them go to the Stayers Hurdle in March. So we'll wait and see about whether these horses can really serve it up to Sea Hoopo. I'm sceptical about that, but again, we need to wait and see how they run in these type of races. Lang and Dan was quite competitive towards the back end of last season, finishing well in the 3-mile race at Aintree and in Sandon, of course. And Strong Leader won the 3-mile race at Aintree towards the back end of last season. So we have got these horses that noted on that can compete. It's just whether or not they can do it at the right time and during the season, especially in the Stayers Hurdle. So the Cheltenham Countdown will be back for 2 episodes in September next month. One outlining and having a preview of open chasers and the other on novice chasers. We'll have both episodes for you next month. I'll be bringing them all to you really close to each other, so we won't have such a big break like I've had in August. And then we'll be getting very close to the start and the opening meeting of the National season this year, which will be Chepstow in early October, and that'll be the kick-start the season for the 2024-25 campaign. Thanks very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this episode on Open Hurdlers, the established hurdlers, and a preview of that division. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you'd like, and feel free to like and share the video, and I'll see you all soon.